As you can see on the screen, the stabbing spree in 2 cities leave 4 dead, others maimed. Please call attack pure evil. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Eric Moulder here with Code Red Conversations. Thanks for joining me today. I want to share with you a video. I haven't watched the news much today at all, so I'm not sure how much airtime this topic or this incident has garnered, but maybe I would think off the top of my head it hasn't garnered much, because this kind of throws a wrench in the whole gun control narrative. But I could be wrong. I'll freely admit that. Matter of fact, I'll check the news sources when I get done here. But I'm gonna share this article with you and share some of my thoughts. In the meantime, if you guys are appreciating my content that I've been putting out on Code Red Conversations, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. We're gonna watch this video here.
Yeah, Micah, we've got 8 different crime scenes spread across Garden Grove and Santa Ana. The last 2, that Subway restaurant over there in that strip mall where one of the employees was stabbed and made it outside before he died. Then across
8 different crime scenes. That's just nuts. I'm sure he was out doing robberies, so I'm sure he had a motive in mind. But right offhand, you would think that there had to be some form of mental illness taking place. At least that's what I would think. But I'm going to do some research after we're done here, see if I can gather some more information, more details.
the street here at this 7-Eleven, that's where a security guard was disarmed, killed, and it's the same location where the suspect was captured. The motive tonight looks like robbery.
And it's one thing that I reference all the time. Now, he was in possession of I'm not sure what the security guard had on him. I know California has some pretty crazy rules and laws at times, so I'm not sure if he was allowed to be armed. I would hope so. But the report did say that the suspect was in possession of a firearm and a knife. I don't know if the firearm was what he had taken from the security guard or something he had on prior. But it just goes to say, it's just a reminder of how proficiency in your weapons, proficiency in being able to defend yourself. Now, you're not going to win every fight. And I'm not trying to say that you're going to become Bruce Lee or you're going to be the Karate Kid or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is when you develop a level of proficiency with your firearm, when you develop a level of, preferably when you develop a high level of skill with your combative skills in the area of hand-to-hand combat, you greatly increase your chances of survival. Wouldn't you rather have those skills readily available, so if you're ever confronted with a life-threatening situation, that you have some abilities to fall back on and you're not just a victim? So consider these things, guys. I'm not just talking. When I talk about these things, I don't just talk just for the sake of talking. I've been bullied as a kid. I know what it's like. When I think back on the times when I was a young man, when I was a kid primarily, I know what it feels like to be terrified, to be afraid when someone's threatening to bring harm on you. And I'm just talking about someone threatening to beat me up when I was a kid. And once I got older, once I was able to financially afford some martial arts training, I jumped at the first opportunity I got. And I basically never looked back throughout the majority of my life. So, and I know what it's like to walk around having that level of confidence and then having it demonstrated throughout my law enforcement career, where I needed to fall back on those skills, and I had them when they were necessary, and they totally changed the encounter. Something that could have been really ugly ended quickly by a few techniques. So I'm imploring you, if you have to find ways to make it in, to budget it in, please do so. Having those skills sharpened could save your life. That's just a reality. I'm not saying for sure that it would have happened in this case, but once again, better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
Police arrest a 33-year-old man from Garden Grove. A gun and a knife discarded on the ground after...
Now, I see some tattoos on his stomach. I'm not going to assume gang affiliation, but but me being a gang officer, having some years of gang experience, it causes some bells. It causes a few bells to go off in my head. There could be some possibility there.
After a murderous crime spree through 2 cities.
We have 4 people deceased, all 4 males. We have a female that's been stabbed. We don't know her condition. Hopefully she survives. And it's just pure tragedy right now.
It all began just after 4 p.m. with robberies at an apartment building and a bakery. A half hour later, police respond to calls of a stabbing at the same apartment complex.
Located a male on the balcony of the apartment, and he was suffering multiple stab wounds. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. A second male inside the apartment had multiple stab wounds. He was taken to UCI Hospital to be treated for his injuries, and ultimately succumbed to his injuries at UCI Hospital.
A half hour after that, a robbery at a check cashing office nearby, and then minutes later, a call from the manager of an insurance office.
He's watching it through a live circuit TV, and that he saw that his employee was down on the ground. Looked like she had been stabbed multiple times.
Then here at First and Harbor in Santa Ana, an employee at this Subway is killed, as was the security guard at this 7-Eleven just across the street. And we're just hearing from the police now that the suspect lived at that same apartment complex where those first 2 men were stabbed to death. We also know that a 2002 silver Mercedes was used throughout this crime spree, but we don't know yet if it belongs to our suspect. In Santa Ana, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you in the studio.
The main reason I shared this video was that what we've been hearing lately especially over the last 2-3 weeks with the active shootings, with the mass shootings that have taken place, was a constant plea for gun control, gun control, gun control. And I think that there could be some changes done to some of the policies and rules that we have, even though from what I've been hearing that there are over 20,000 laws already on the books. Many of them haven't been enforced properly, the way that they should. So that's a whole different conversation. But I want to post this as a reminder that even if you take all the guns away from people, you still have to deal with the heart. You still have to deal with the mind of the individual. It is the criminal, as we clearly see in this particular encounter, that you have to deal with. We as a society have to look within to understand what is going on in the minds of our young people, in the minds of people in general, that makes people want to do something like this. Now, as a Christian man, I understand, I look at things from a biblical perspective, where I understand that people are sinful by nature. I think that we need to search deeper and understand what motivates people. Mental health, I agree, definitely plays a role, but I know it's not the only thing. I believe an increasingly desensitized society to violence, and a society that basically believes morality is that there is no ultimate foundation for morality. You can basically do what you want to do, and perhaps the greatest violation these days is to tell someone that they're wrong. So once again, a well-armed society, those people out there who don't want to harm anyone, who are law-abiding citizens, who carry firearms with them primarily to defend themselves, to defend their families, the more and more laws we put in place to prevent those people, those law-abiding citizens, from being able to defend themselves, protect themselves and those around them, the easier it will be for the criminal to harm us. So those are just my thoughts on this video. If you liked it, please share. In the meantime, stay safe, God bless, and make sure you join the conversation.